Over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of dark, physics-based platformers out there, and Dark Mystery is just the newest one. But is this game a mystery that's worth getting into, or should this game be banished to the dark? Dark Mystery is a very bare-bones, basic, physics-based platformer where you're playing as a blob, basically trying to platform their way through many levels in order to save a princess. The game has a small amount of cutscenes that are played at the beginning of certain levels, but it's just the character sitting there. In fact, I thought my character was stuck and the controls weren't working, but after a little bit of time, some text ended up popping up. No voice acting or anything like that. The game features over 30 levels, introducing new hazards along the way for you to try to traverse. It's one-hit death, and you will die quite a good amount of times as you're trying to progress, not only from the challenge, but just from the overall awkward and almost broken control. The game is about as basic as you can get, while still at least being considered a game. There are collectibles, these little shiny orbs throughout each level, but it doesn't seem to be a reason to really collect them. It tells you how many you have, but you don't get rewarded or any kind of grade or extra lives or anything for getting a certain number of them. The game has an infinite number of lives. When you die, you'll get to go back to the beginning of the level. Some levels have checkpoints, but other levels don't. There's no real rhyme or reason why certain levels do and others don't, other than they didn't program them in. Not surprisingly, the controls are extremely basic. You have your main button to jump, you have a button to pause so you can bring up the menu, look at settings, go back to previous levels, and you can move using the joystick. Other than that, there's nothing else here. The way that jumping works is you have a double and potential triple jump, but it's so finicky. It's impossible to describe without actually playing it. You can mash it really fast and you'll get a higher amount of jump, or you can kind of sometimes stagnate your jumps when you do it, and other times when you double tap or triple tap the button, it doesn't seem to really jump at all. Momentum does come into play a lot with certain jumps, but it really just seems to be luck on whether or not the physics work on your side or end up not working at all. The game features basic puzzle solving where you'll either have to press a button to open up something or move boxes onto certain things. I ran into a variety of different glitches with boxes either disappearing, getting stuck, not moving. I was able to sometimes manipulate the jumping by like running into a wall, getting stuck, and then be able to kind of jump off the wall. Even though you're not allowed to do a wall jump, it still sometimes would end up working. You also get snagged on every little corner and wall, so you may be attempting to try to get up to a higher platform and end up getting stuck in the wall, and then have to basically just fall into a pit because you're unable to jump off the wall. It seems like the game just was not well tested to make sure that the jumping, which is the only thing the game does, even works. There's also a lot of programming oddities throughout. You just get to the end of a level and it just abruptly ends with the screen popping up and says, hey, you beat the level. Instead of just transitioning to the next level or even having a level select screen be the main way to go between levels, instead it has to play a cutscene every single time you make it to a new stage. And the blob that's shown in the cutscene is different from the one you're playing. I don't know why this is or why this cutscene every single level has to play, but you'll get to see it quite a lot if you end up liking the 3 seconds of animation. The game is bad, but it's not offensively bad. It has the basics of a platformer, but platform enthusiasts are probably going to get bored way before they even get past level 10. The music just randomly picks a track each time you restart a level instead of having level-specific music, as well as it will just abruptly cut out of nowhere. There seems to be a lot of missing sound effects as well. You do have a few enemies. There's like 2 enemies in the entire game that you may have to fight a couple of times, and you can jump on them like classic Mario in order to defeat them, but they kind of just poof away. The hit detection on them is awful, and sometimes I ran into them and we both ended up dying. It's a complete mess. I will say though, amongst all the other technical issues and just bad programming in general, thankfully the game didn't crash on me. Dark Mystery is available now on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It doesn't have a full trophy list or a platinum, but it is an easy 100% if that's something you're into. It has about 7 or 8 trophies that you'll easily get for going through the game. Overall, Dark Mystery is like an alpha build of what potentially could have been an interesting puzzle atmospheric platformer, but it just needs a ton of work in order to stand out in any way. It's bad, but it's not the worst I've ever played. It does function mostly, and I was able to beat the game at least. With that said, I'm going to be giving Dark Mystery a 3 out of 10. But anyway guys, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.